What up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Now, with The Irishman hitting select theaters this week, and since it's also premiering on Netflix in late November, cannot wait for The Irishman, by the way. To be honest, I don't think I've ever been this excited for a Netflix film. Anyway, uh, since it is directed by probably my second favorite director right behind Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Martin Scorsese movies. Now, yeah, of course, lately he's been in the news recent because of his comments on Marvel and comic book movies. Period. I mean, whatever you like, you know, whatever he says about comic books and all, I don't like. I still disagree with him on the on his comic book talk, but you know what? Scorsese is still one of the best. I mean, I think the guy is great, terrific, and he's been he's directed probably some of my favorite movies of all time. To be honest, yeah. So, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Martin Scorsese movies. Alright. Coming in at number 10, it is Gangs of New York. Now, this movie is such a great one. You know, it stars Leo DiCaprio as this young Irish immigrant named Amerstem, Valen, who ends up being released from prison, and he also returns to the Five Point and where he like seeks revenge against his father's killer named William Cutting, played by Daniel Day Lewis, who's this powerful immigrant, anti-immigrant gang leader. And he ends up pretty much knowing that like revenge can like end up being contained by infiltrating Cutting's inner circle. So I guess you could say this like if The Departed was took place in like the olden times, like this movie takes place in the 1860s. And like he ends up pretty much finding for personal survival and find like a place for the Irish folks in New York State of 1860. And Gangs of New York is pretty decent. Like it has a pretty good cast too. Like you've got the aforementioned DiCaprio, you've got Daniel Day Lewis, you also got you got Cameron Diaz, Liam Neeson, Jim Broadbent, John C. Reilly's in this. You got Elliot himself, Henry Thomas, Brendan Gleeson. You have Eddie Marson. There's some really good cast members. I mean, this movie is pretty gritty at times. I mean, crazy how New York changed since the 1860s. I mean, holy cow! Great performances by everyone in this. I mean, Gangs in New York it's magnificent. And if you guys never seen Gangs in New York by now, give it a shot. And great poster too, by the way. Anyway, coming in at number 9, it is The Aviator. Now, it stars DiCaprio as, obviously, lots of Leo DiCaprio movies are going to be on this list, by the way. I mean, lots of DiCaprio and De Niro movies are going to be in this list. So, anyway, DiCaprio, of course, plays a billionaire and aviation tycoon Howard Hughes, who was like the successful public figure, and he was also a director of big budget films like Hell's Angels, and he also ended up having like a pretty much a passionate love for Hollywood leading ladies, Catherine, including Hepburn, played by Kate Blanchett, as well as Ava Gardner, played by Kate Beckinsale. You also had Gwen Stefani, playing Jean Harlow, who it's pretty cool seeing Gwen Stefani in this. You also had Jude Law was in this. You had Kelly Garner, Adam Scott, Danny Houston, William Dafoe, Alec Baldwin, some really good cast members. And this is, of course, like this is also like a movie, like a love movie about for old Hollywood. Sort of like how Tarantino's film Once Upon a Time was in Hollywood was a love letter to the golden age of Hollywood. This is kind of similar to that, and it's a really great one. Like Leo DiCaprio was a great Howard Hughes. He played that role really well. Kate Blanchett gave a great performance. Kate Beckinsale was terrific. I mean, if you guys never really seen Scorsese's film The Aviator yet, give it a go. It's a really decent one. Alright. Coming in at number 8, it is the King of Comedy. Now, the King of Comedy stars Robert De Niro as as like this failure guy named Rupert Pumpkin, who's pretty much like this failure in life, but a celebrity in his own mind, and he also like imagines he also ends up hosting a imaginary talk show in his mother's basement. So this guy's kind of a nut job, if you will. But when he ends up meeting this actual talk show host named Jerry Langford, played by Jerry Lewis, he ends up pretty much convinced that it will provide his a big break. But Langford ends up pretty much has like no interest in De Niro's character. Alright. And so Pumpkin ends up pretty much stalking Langford. Then he also and when like things doesn't work out, he ends up kidnapping Langford, and he pretty much offers his release in exchange for a guest on his talk show. And he's kind of a this is movie is kind of is like a very dark comedy. It's a movie about stand up, but it's very dark, and it shows how crazy someone would go for fame and all. And King of Comedy, you also had Tony Randall was also in this. Sandra Bernhard was pretty funny here. I mean, De Niro was like this movie. I guess you could say inspired Joker, which was also produced by Scorsese, by the way. And yeah, King of Comedy it's a comic classic. If you guys never got to see it, give it a go. I mean, Jerry Lewis, De Niro, good cast members. Anyway, all right. Coming in at number 7, it is The Departed. Now, this is the movie that finally won Scorsese his first ever Oscar after God knows how. It's crazy that he didn't end up winning his Oscar until The Departed. So pretty crazy there. Anyway, the film star. Alright. The film stars Leo DiCaprio as this South Boston cop named Billy Costigan, who ends up pretty much going like undercover to infiltrate the organization of this gangland chief named Frank Costello, played by Jack Nixon. So he ends up trying to pretty much gaining the mobsters' trust. And so you got this criminal named Kyle Sullivan, who ends up infiltrating the police department. So I guess you could say they kind of you kind of had like a criminal, on the police side, and you had a police officer on the criminal side, and they end up both like pretty much like organ. And there's like these both organizations learn that they have like a moat in the mess. So Billy and Kyle must like figure out each other's like identity to save their own lives. And you also got Mark Wahlberg was in this, Al Gordon, Anthony Anderson, Vera Farmiga. You also had Ray Winstone, James. You had James Badge Dale in this. I mean, some really great cast members. And the movie, of course, like I said, won Scorsese his first ever Oscar. The movie itself won Best Picture. I mean, the film is also an American remake of Infernal Affairs. The part, like I said, has a great cast in it. I mean, it's a pretty decent film. I mean, it's crazy. It's been out since like 2006, and the movie's still the best. If you guys never seen The Departed by now, it's another Scorsese movie worth checking out. All right. Coming in at number 6, it is Cape Fear. Now, this is also another remake, but this is the remake of a of like a 1962 film. Now, the original stars of it had Robert Mitchum and Gregory Peck, which is kind of funny that because they both had roles in this. And it stars Nick Nolte as this attorney named Sam Bowden, who ends up is withholding evidence that will like acquit this violent sex offender named Max Ketty, played by Robert De Niro, of rape charges. And he ends up pretty much devoting his life to and then when Max ends up getting a release like after 14 years of prison. He ends up like devoting his life to really stalk and destroy the Boden family, and he also there's also like a creepy scene that happens between Sam between Max Cady and Sam's daughter, played by Juliette Lewis. Like there's like a very creepy tense there. Uh, you had Juliette Lewis who actually plays Max. He played Jessica Lange actually played Sam's wife in this. Jessica Lange is pretty great. This movie it was another like really interesting stalking film. It was pretty creepy at times. I mean, De Niro could play creepy well, and he showed how creepy he was in this. I mean, if you guys never really seen Cape Fear, like I said, I probably prefer the remake over the original. This is definitely one of the rare remakes that's better than the original, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, if you guys never really seen the remake of Cape Fear, give it a go. Especially if you want to see creepy De Niro. Alright. Coming in at number 5, it is the boxing classic Raging Bull. Now, Raging Bull, of course, stars Robert De Niro as famed heavyweight boxing champion Jake. Yeah, as a famed boxing champion Jake LaMotta, and it's a classic boxing film. You got Joe Pesci who plays like LaMotta's. He of course played LaMotta's like trainer here. Yeah, Raging Bull is like it's probably not as great as Rocky, but it is my second favorite boxing movie, right behind Rocky. And De Niro gained he gained loads of pounds for like he was buff when he did this movie. I mean, yeah, he was pretty buff. Yeah. Joe, like his on-screen chemistry with Joe Pesci was pretty decent. You had Katie Moriarty who played De Niro's wife here. I thought she was terrific. The fight scenes was pretty good, very intense, violent, really great movie. Like if you guys ever seen Raging Bull, it's a boxing classic right there. All right. Coming in at number 4, it's the last film you'll ever want to watch with anyone, and the that is of course the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, yeah, this is the last movie you'll ever want to watch with a family member. Like, if you guys watch this movie, careful who you watch this with. I mean, it's a very awkward movie, and there's like some very crazy stuff that happens in this, like the Margot Robbie scenes. You know, the scenes with Jonah Hill was pretty crazy. Like this movie is the party scenes pretty messed up. I mean, and crazy that it's based on a true story too. I mean, Jordan Belfort of course ended up pretty much stealing from like wealthy Wall Street investors. And Leo DiCaprio, I think Leo DiCaprio should have won his Oscar for this. I mean, all due respect to Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, McConaughey was great in Dallas Buyers Club. Don't get me wrong there, but part of me still thinks that DiCaprio should have won over Matthew McConaughey because DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street, was really terrific. And Margot Robbie was great. Jonah Hill was amazing. Matthew McConaughey and it's like he only had like one scene and that was really it. You also had Rob Reiner, John Farrow, John Dujardin from The Artist fame. You had PJ Byrne, Jake Hoffman, Aya Cash. I mean, some Kristen Milotti, some really great cast members. Great performances by everyone here. This movie was pretty funny. It got pretty dramatic at times. I mean, if you guys never really got a chance to check out Scorsese's Wolf of Wall Street, it's also the film that really broke the records for most F bombs dropped in the movie. Yeah, this movie had loads of F bombs in it. But that being said, it's still a pretty good film. Like, definitely go check out Wolf of Wall Street if you guys never seen that. All right. Coming in at number 3, it is Casino. Now, Casino's, come on, great. It's based on a book by Nicholas Pellegrini, who, of course, did the book for Goodfellas that Scorsese also directed. I mean, it is a gangster movie set in Las Vegas in the 1970s. We got Joe Pesci as a pretty much as a wise guy, tough baddie here. I mean, Joe Pesci as a role of he played, of course, the loose cannon enforcer, Nicky Santoro. You got Sharon Stone here, who plays pretty much plays Sam's hustler wife, named Ginger, played by, of course, Sharon Stone, was great as that role. She also, you also got James Woods, who plays like her con artist ex here. You got lots of corrupt politicians in this film. I mean, this movie was also a pretty violent film. When I mean violent, I mean this movie got really violent. But it's still a great one. I mean, great performances by the cast. I mean, if you guys never really guys seen Casino, it's a classic. I mean, it got released in late 1980s. I can't remember the actual year. I think 1997 or 96, around that time. But this was like pretty much the film that reunited the Goodfellas team, and yeah, Casino is such a great one. I mean, definitely go check out Casino if you guys haven't seen that. All right. All right, coming in at number 2, it is another film that kind of inspired, that pretty much also inspired Joker, and that is Taxi Driver. I mean, Robert De Niro as Travis Bickle is one messed up, crazy character. He ends up also trying to protect this 12-year-old prostitute named Iris, played by Jodie Foster. Who Jodie Foster was terrific here. You also had Sylvia Shepherd, who plays like this woman that De Niro ends up rolling over, who ends up becoming like this his pretty much like this campaign worker who he ends up becoming obsessed over. You also got other people like you got Albert Brooks, Harvey Keitel, Peter Boyle was in this. I mean, of course there's the iconic line of "Are you talking to me?" Come on, that line is used in a lot of stuff lately. Like from Alvin Chipmunks and all that. That line always gets shown in little stuff. And De Niro, he was very nuts. He was creepy in this. And yeah, I mean, Taxi Driver, it's a classic. I mean, this movie got released in, I think, early 1980s or 70s, or around those decades. But yeah, Taxi Driver is definitely a movie that still holds up. Definitely go check it out. I mean, it's one messed up, crazy flick. And come on, it also takes place in one night. Who doesn't love that? Alright. Coming in at number 1, it is Goodfellas. Now, this is definitely Scorsese's best work ever. I mean, who doesn't love Goodfellas? Goodfellas, it's a classic. It's the movie that I think should have won the Oscar over Dancing with Wolves. Sorry, Dancing with Wolves, but Goodfellas was a better movie in my opinion. I mean, Henry Hill, the guy's not supposed to be likable, but for some reason they kind of make him, at times they actually make this guy likable, but in real life he was not likable at all. I mean, he killed loads of people, he pretty much robbed lots of people, so yeah, but Ray Liotta as Henry Hill, I thought Ray Liotta was great. You also had, people like, Rob De Niro as his partner Jimmy Conway, as well as Tommy DeVito, played by Joe Pesci, who of course Joe Pesci played a really good tough guy and wise guy in this movie. And I mean, this is of course one of the best gangster movies there is. You also had people like Lorraine Bracco was in this, Frank Vincent, Michael Piarielli, Tony Saccario. You had Paul Sorvino was in this. This movie also got pretty violent. I mean, not as violent as Casino was, but it's a pretty violent film. It's a great heist movie. It's definitely a part heist film. I mean, Ray Liotta, it was actually the movie that really brought Ray Liotta into the spotlight. He did movies before Goodfellas, but it was really Goodfellas that really put him on the map for most people. And I mean, this movie should, like I said, should won the Oscar for Best Picture. This is the movie that should won Scorsese his first ever Oscar before The Departed, but that didn't happen. And Goodfellas, I mean, this is a movie that still holds up today. Like, if you guys never seen Goodfellas for some other reason, give it a go. It's an iconic film right there. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Uh, Number 10, Gangs of New York. 9, The Aviator. 8, The Kings of Comedy. 7, The Departed. 6, Cape Fear. 5, Raging Bull. 4, The Wolf of Wall Street. 3, Casino. 2, Taxi Driver. 1, Goodfellas. Now, there's loads of other Scorsese movies I probably could have added. I mean, the guy's done loads of great stuff. He, of course, his directorial debut was Main Street, which is a great film right there. Um, he also did Silence, which lots of people like, but I think that's actually one of his worst movies. Shutter Island, like lots of people like Shutter Island. To me, that's one of his worst films. Let's see what else he did. He did Hugo, which was pretty decent. A very different Scorsese film, but like that film felt like a Tim Burton movie than a Scorsese. But of course, he did Last Temptation of Christ with Willem Dafoe. Cape. Oh, I already said Cape Fear. The Age of Innocence, The Color of Money. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. New York, New York. Bringing Out the Dead. I mean, Scorsese is the man, and I simply cannot wait for The Irishman. I mean, I kind of wish I was hitting in more theaters, but I guess I gotta wait till like the 29th to watch it when it hits Netflix. But let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Martin Scorsese movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is T Movie signing off.